The top 10 cheapest billionaires. Have you ever heard of a cheap billionaire? Well, now you have. Not all rich people are flashy. Some are so cheap that you wouldn't even believe it. In today's video, we'll take a look at the top 10 frustratingly cheap billionaires who have money but choose not to spend it. Number 1. Chuck Feeney, $1.5 million. While $1.5 million is a far cry from our topic today, Chuck Feeney was actually once worth an outstanding $8 million. So what happened? The Irish-American businessman made his fortune selling duty-free booze in the 1950s in Asia. However, he secretly donated vast sums of his hard-earned cash for decades. Chuck's secret philanthropy only became public due to business disputes in 1997. Forbes magazine dubbed Feeney the James Bond of philanthropy because of how stealthy he was in donating just about all his $8 billion earnings. Chuck never drove, always flew coach, and wore a $10 Casio watch. Chuck inspired Bill Gates and Warren Buffett to start the Giving Pledge. Number 2. Tim Cook, $1.5 billion. CEO of Apple, Tim Cook is your typical workaholic. He wakes up at 3:45 in the morning and responds to 800 emails per day. Tim doesn't talk much about himself because he doesn't find himself interesting. Cook is into staying fit and likes to go on hikes, bike rides, and to the gym. He's also very private and lives alone. Tim also mentioned that he'll be donating most of his wealth and has already started through several charities. Number 3. Azim Premji, $4.5 billion. Azim Hashim Premji is an Indian businessman worth about $4.5 billion. His riches came from serving as chairman of Wipro Limited. Premji is still the founding chairman and a non-executive member of the board. According to the man himself, having money did not delight him. So it seems fitting that he was the first Indian to sign the Giving Pledge. And at the time of this video, Premji's lifetime donations total more than $21 billion. With that much donation, it's unsurprising that Azim Premji rose to prominence as India's leading philanthropist in April 2019. Number 4. Mark Zuckerberg, $65.8 billion. American tech entrepreneur and philanthropist Mark Zuckerberg has a $65.8 billion net worth. And if you know him from Facebook, you're also probably aware that he's one of the cheapest billionaires on Earth. Mark's shares on Facebook account for the great majority of his wealth, may not come as a surprise. And did you know that he's only paid $1 a year in salary? Both he and his wife are not fond of fast cars and glitzy bling, so they opted to create a philanthro-capitalist organization called the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. Chan and Zuckerberg committed to donating 99% of their shares to the initiative. Number 5. Fyodor Ingvar Kamprad, $42.5 billion. The Swedish business mogul Fyodor Ingvar Kamprad is mostly known for developing IKEA, a global retailer focusing on furniture. Aside from that, he's also a well-known cheapskate. In a 2006 interview, Kamprad was driving a 1993 Volvo, traveling in economy class, and encouraging IKEA staff to print or write on both sides of a sheet. According to reports, he saved the salt and pepper packets from restaurants and recycled tea bags. He also loved visiting IKEA for a cheap meal. Yep, Kamprad was renowned for his thrifty ways. Some stories said that the magnate bought gifts and wrapping paper after Christmas to get discounts. The organization he founded is still renowned for its focus on cost management, operational processes, and ongoing product development. This meant that IKEA could cut costs by an average of 2 to 3% over the 10 years leading up to 2010, while continuing its international expansion. In Testament of a Furniture Dealer, Kamprad expresses his social philosophy. It is not only for cost reasons that we avoid the luxury hotels. We don't need flashy cars, impressive titles, uniforms, or other status symbols. We rely only on our strength and our will. But he also splurged on a villa in Switzerland, a sizable farm in Sweden, and a vineyard in Provence, France. For a while, Kamprad also drove a Porsche. And before we go on to the next half of the cheapest billionaires, subscribe to the channel by clicking the red button. Click the notification bell so you'd be notified whenever we release a new video. Number 6. Amantio Ortega, $76.9 billion. Amantio Ortega Gaona is a businessman and fashion executive from Spain, with a $76.9 billion fortune. Amantio made his fortune as the creator of Inditex, the holding company for the enormously successful Zara clothing line, and he has quietly remained one of the wealthiest persons in the world for many years. The billionaire maintains a low profile and is unlikely to be identified because Amantio has only granted 3 interviews to the media. He is super secretive about his personal life and prefers keeping to himself. We can't even be sure if there are recent photographs of the guy. That's how reclusive he is. And much like how nondescript Mark Zuckerberg's fashion sense is, Amantio also prefers a blue blazer, a white shirt, and gray slacks, none of which are from Zara. He doesn't wear ties and likes to dress simply. Number 7. Alice Walton, $58.1 billion. As an heiress to the Walmart chain, Alice Walton is worth $58.1 billion. She's the only daughter of founder Sam Walton. As opposed to working at Walmart like her brothers Rob and Jim, Alice has concentrated on curating art. In her hometown of Bentonville, Arkansas, Alice opened the $50 million Crystal Bridges Museum in 2011 to showcase her $500 million art collection. And at the time, it has 4 times the endowment of the renowned Whitney Museum in New York. Among the artists represented in Crystal Bridges are Norman Rockwell, Mark Rothko, and Andy Warhol. Aside from giving her cash away to charities, she also built the Alice L. Walton School of Medicine, a holistic health center established in Bentonville. Number 8. Sergey Bryn, $84.8 billion. Sergey Bryn co-founded Google with Larry Page. Until December 3, 2019, Bryn served as the head of Alphabet Inc., the organization that owns Google. But despite Google becoming a multi-billion-dollar business, Bryn remained true to its pioneering spirit. He often wore gym attire and Vibram shoes when walking around Google's campus. He also routinely used rollerblades to get around the workplace, practiced yoga poses during meetings, and occasionally walked on his hands for amusement. Bryn has continued to be active since leaving his position at Alphabet. From running a foundation that supports Parkinson's education and research to developing a covert airship startup, he has also attempted to master a number of Olympic sports. The Google founder is extremely busy that he's currently penning a physics textbook, according to the Wall Street Journal. And if you're worth $84.8 billion, you can do whatever you want. While he's not really into expensive things, he has multiple real estate properties. Number 9. Carlos Slim, $80.5 billion. Son of Lebanese immigrants to Mexico, Carlos Slim Helou is a self-made businessman. He served as America Mobile's previous CEO and chair, and as of December 2022, his net worth was roughly $80.5 billion, making Carlos the wealthiest man in Mexico. But being rich doesn't equate to extravagance for the businessman. Slim admits to preferring a modest existence, leading a less opulent life than other billionaires. Then again, he has, nevertheless, been a shrewd businessman and investor, ensuring that his riches expand. Carlos helps ensure that his wealth will continue to increase by making wise investments in a diverse range of financial assets, real estate, and collectibles. Nope, nothing super expensive for this guy. He only drives a custom Mercedes 4x4. Beyond that, though, his charitable desire to contribute a large portion of his money to organizations that assist in improving his native Mexico and South America may be his most significant investment, and unquestionably, that leaves a lasting impact. Number 10. Warren Buffett, $107.4 billion. For a good reason, Warren Buffett's Omaha home has garnered attention. The billionaire is famously frugal, and Warren lives in his 1958 $31,500 Omaha, Nebraska home and loves every minute of it. While he also bought a California beach property for $150,000 in the early 70s, Buffett eventually sold it for $7.5 million from $11 million. That sale still earned him a pretty penny. With a net worth of $107.4 billion, the stock investor is really one of the best in the world. But he prefers burgers from McDonald's and Cherry Coke instead of lobsters and steaks. He dislikes computers and fancy cars. Value investing drives Buffett's success. and that defines his career and lifestyle. If you loved this video, make sure to check out the cars that billionaires drive. See you in our next video, and always remember, Invictus luxury for people who want more.